end up using. There are 10 true false, there are 10 multiple guess, and I think every single one of these, not every single one, but most of these are probably on the Kahoot. And then there is a short answer on the back, so it's 20 plus 10 plus 10 plus 14 is 55 total. I think I'm saying it's 53, so there's a couple extra in case there's a bad question. I'll read through the short answer right now just so you get an idea. According to current best estimates, what is the approximate count for each of the following? How many galaxies in the universe? That's something I would never ask on a test unless it was open note, but you have that in your notes, how many galaxies. And you don't need to write all the damn zeros, you can just do it exponentially, just whatever, just 10 to the 24th, whatever. Stars in the universe, so, times, how many galaxies are there in the universe? Anybody remember that? I should remember this. Hella, yeah. What do the letters in Project SETI stand for? SETI, you guys remember that? Search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Again, besides our sun, name 2 other kinds of objects that form from our solar system's nebula. So what else is in our solar system besides the sun? Planets, moons, asteroids, anything that's in orbit around the sun is part of the same nebula. In the process of thermonuclear fusion that we've been talking about in this class, what gas is consumed? It's number 1 on the periodic table, hydrogen. What gas is being formed? Hydrogen fuses into helium. When comparing a more massive, and this was in the Kahoot too, when comparing a more massive star to a less massive star, which burns brighter? The brighter star is the more massive. The one that's going to burn longer is the smaller star, the less massive star. Name 2 galaxies that are next door neighbors in our region of the space. Do you guys know the name of our galaxy?
Milky Way.
That's one. What's the closest galaxy to us? It's featured in Pegasus. Andromeda is the right answer. So Andromeda. I mean, there's like Sagittarius. I mean, there are other possible right answers. That's what I had in mind when I read that. There's a Sagittarius dwarf galaxy, and there's other. Here's 2 kinds of evidence that supports the idea of the Big Bang and an expanding universe. So there's 2. So what's the evidence that supports the Big Bang? Do you remember this? Cosmic background radiation. What evidence supports the idea of the expanding universe? That's Hubble. The idea that the spectrograph, they're all shifted to the red. That's called the Doppler effect. Yeah. Name 2 fundamental questions addressed by astronomers interested in cosmology. Cosmology is the big picture stuff. How did it begin? How is it evolving? How will it end? Those are all reasonable questions. 2 kinds of celestial objects our sun will become as it approaches the end of its life. So right now it's a main sequence star. What's it going to become when it runs out of fuel? A red giant. And once it casts off that outer shell of gas, the remnant will be a white dwarf. So the celestial objects, our sun will become a red giant and a white dwarf. Identify 2 other kinds of celestial objects that supernova remnants can become. The most massive stars, when they go supernova, what's left? The most massive. That's a black hole. Gravity collapses down to a singularity. The medium-sized massive stars, if they're not massive enough to collapse into a black hole, they collapse into anybody remember that? It has 2 names, a pulsar or a neutron star. They're the same thing. Pulsar, neutron star. That should be in your slide notes. In the famous equation, E equals mc squared, what do each of the following letters represent? E is easy, energy. M is easy to think physics, mass. Most folks don't remember the C because it doesn't start with a C. That's the speed of light. c is speed of light. I'm asking you to identify two colors that are at the very opposite ends of the visible light spectrum.
Blue and red.
Good. Technically, Roy G. Biv, it would be violet, but we talked about it shifted blue and shifted red, so if you said blue and red, you would get that right. Identify two constellations that have in them red giant stars. So we'll throw back to what we did last. If you can look around, remember, did anybody remember the name of this constellation? Scorpius was a red giant. And then what's the red giant, what's the constellation back there? The star is Betelgeuse. What constellation is that in? Orion. And I think I've had people tell, I know I've had people tell me Pegasus, and I started to mark Pegasus wrong, but I ended up marking it correctly because one of the stars in Pegasus is actually a galaxy with 400 billion stars, and I'm sure out of that 400 billion stars, one is red, so if you said Pegasus, that would probably be the right answer too. Last, to name two kinds of evidence that support the nebular hypothesis for our solar system. So the nebular hypothesis says our solar system was created from the same cloud of dust and gas at about the same time. What's the evidence for that? We've got two types. I think I mentioned this already. Maybe I did. Maybe that was last time. The evidence is all the planets and virtually all the moons are orbiting in the same direction. And then the other is all the extraterrestrial rock samples we have come across are all about the same age. So we've got pieces of Mars, the moon, asteroids, comets, and they're all about the same. They're all about the same. So that's evidence that it was all created. So any other questions about this? You guys should, what do you got?
Wait, so is every single question on the test like able to be answered by one of the 3 sheets we're gonna have?
Yes.
Deuces.